welcome to Beauty First in 10. If you're new here, hi, my name is Debbie and I'm so happy to have you on my channel. And today we're going to do a full makeup review and a look of what I think is kind of an underappreciated and an under talked about brand, which is Polite Society. And kind of the brand's mojo is sort of vegan, cruelty-free, clean ingredients, non-toxic, and it's made by the founders that also started Too Faced. So they've got some experience, but they really wanted to focus on some of those things. And Too Faced is cruelty-free as well. And that's something that's really important to me because I only show cruelty-free products on my channel. But I'd like to take a moment and talk about the fact that they touted the fact that they were non-toxic, because isn't that something that every brand should sort of strive for, is to not have us put toxic chemicals on our face? And sadly, I know from looking at ingredients that that is not the case. So I do appreciate that there's lots of skin-loving ingredients that they've put into these formulas. So we're going to go ahead and dive in and go through a lot of the products. Now, I already put on in these videos my skincare for the day because they don't have any skincare. They're just a makeup company. And I put a little bit of concealer on because they don't have that either. So let's go ahead and dive in. All right, so we're going to go ahead and start with the foundation. So this is the one by Polite Society, and this is More Than a Pretty Face Skin Caring Foundation. This has all kind of good for you skin ingredients in it, and you can adjust this, and so the coverage can go from kind of light coverage to full coverage depending on your application technique, and we'll do two different ways today so you can kind of see that. And this is sold at Ulta. It's also sold on Amazon and of course on Polite Society's own website. These shades can be just a little bit difficult to guess just off the website alone. This one's a great one to just go and test on and then wait for a coupon to pop up and buy it from whoever has it best. But we'll go ahead and I'll show you kind of this color here. So this is my color, and you know, I would say this is a good color for me most year round. I would say this is kind of more of a fall, winter, spring, not so much my current summery one. So we're gonna take a little bit of this, and this is on an IT Cosmetics blurring foundation brush. And then what I like to do is take a little bit of the product and then really kind of get it to go into all the bristles. And then we're gonna go ahead and apply this on this side, and this is gonna be more of like full coverage. But we're just gonna put it here, and I do have some red spots here and here that it's been covering really well, so that's also good to know. But doing that kind of buffing really kind of lets you control how much product you're putting on, and also just, you know, make sure that you're not overdoing it. You know, I see those people all the time and they take the foundation and they just like put a dot. Don't do that. That's dumb. I don't know why people do that. Put it in your hands, warm it up if we're going to go with your fingers, or, you know, use brushes. That's what they're there for. So, and I'm just using my mirror just behind you. So if it looks like I'm looking in a weird place, that is why. I'm just trying to make sure I've got good coverage. Like I said, I do have kind of this red patch here that I'm probably still going to need concealer for, but we're just going to put a titch more on there. See if we can cover that. I have been struggling with this cluster of three. They're like the Three Musketeers, and I cannot get rid of them. So I have an appointment with my dermatologist to see if she can maybe get rid of them. I'll bring this in so you can kind of see here, but I've got good coverage. It's a pretty good match, so you can see with my neck there, but you know, you always want to kind of buff and, you know, incorporate your neck so there isn't that line, but I think that's a good match for me. So you can kind of see dead on kind of without foundation and with foundation. Now on the other side, we're going to go ahead and we're going to apply this with a Beauty Blender makeup sponge. And I've already kind of made this damp, and this is going to give us much lighter coverage. And we're also going to need a lot more product, which is one of the reasons I don't love using a Beauty Blender, is because of that. But this side, I don't have anything I'm trying to cover desperately. So this is a better one to do and see the light coverage. Now this product does have niacinamide in it, which is a pore minimizer. And it also has willow bark. And willow bark is a brightening agent. And then they also have hyaluronic acid, which is good for plumping. So all around, you know, it's got some ingredients that had some thought put into it, which I definitely appreciate. I don't want to put toxic products on my face. And then just to make sure we've got everything, I just kind of smooth things over a little bit with the brush. and just also too to get in this little area, which is sometimes hard with the beauty blender. So I'll bring that in so you can kind of see both sides. So kind of a lighter coverage and then more of a full coverage on this side. All right, so we're gonna go and we're gonna talk about blush next. And they have these cream blushes that I'm a big fan of. On the top here, I have Miami, I have Malibu, which has a little bit of shimmer. I have on the top here, Palm Springs, and then I have Sydney. And we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna do Sydney. It's getting to be fall, or at least I'd like it to be fall. You know, in the South, I'm not going to see fall till December, but I'm going to pretend it's fall, hence my brown sweater today. I'm trying to channel some inner fall. And I'll show you this color here. So I kind of put that on a little bit thick, but it's nice. It's got like, you know, just like a little bit of a brown shimmer to it. It is matte, and we're going to go ahead and we're going to put this on. And this is, you can swipe this directly onto the cheek. So we'll just do that on this side. I do not find that that causes it to not spread well. It doesn't take off foundation underneath, but that's not kind of my preferred method because I feel like I can get a lot better control with the product when I do it directly from my hand. So what I'll do here with my Patrick Ta blush brush is apply it directly there. And then I get a little bit, well, I use most of the product on the other side, but I get a lot better control and layering ability. And so much like the foundation, you can adjust the coverage of these to be more, you know, bold if you like it. So you can kind of see, I personally just like this side because I feel like I get better control. But we'll go ahead and we'll put on more than I normally would, just so you can kind of see how everything goes. And this is same as the others. So it has skin caring ingredients and good for you things like vitamin E. So you don't have to feel bad about putting these on. So if you don't want to put foundation on and you just want to put this directly on your skin, that's also okay. Okay, so now besides the Polite Pops, which I am a big fan of, and obviously that's what we put on, they also have palettes. And so this one is the Polite Society Go Flush Yourself palette. And this has 2 highlighters and 2 blush in it. So I'm going to show you that as well. You've got kind of a pink shade here, you've got a peach shade, and then you have the 2 highlighters. So we'll go ahead and we'll put on one of the highlighters from this palette. And I'm gonna use this brush. So I'm gonna go with the lighter one. So this one here, and I'm just gonna put this in the top of my kind of cheekbones and then down my nose. So we'll just grab a little bit of this on the brush, and this wicked brush picks up way more than you think it will. And we're just gonna put this right here so you can kind of see it gives just a pretty flush there. And then just right here, and then down the center of the nose and kind of in the middle of the forehead. But that just kind of gives a nice pretty effect. So if you want more bang for your buck, then getting 2 blush and 2 highlighters is good. And I've really enjoyed both of the blush colors as well. And then the other thing we're gonna look at is their bronzer. This is Polite Society's Cabana Club Blurring Bronzer. Now, one of the things I'll mention is that if you are new to bronzing and you're like, I'm not really a bronzer fan, check this one out. It is very light coverage. It is very goof proof. You really can't mess this up. You're not gonna have lines all over your face. Now, I did get this in shade Club Tropicana, which is one up, kind of their middle shade. And I'll show you what this looks like here. And so this is a nice shade. I don't have to worry too much about this one. I originally started with the shade down from here, and it was so light I couldn't really tell I was wearing bronzer. So I returned it and went up on shade. So again, I'm gonna use my Patrick Ta bronzing brush, and you just wanna go down the hairline, and all these products, same as before, have good for you skin ingredients included in them. So even though it's not the foundation that's directly touching your face, you don't have to worry too much. And then we're gonna do the cheeks here, just kind of warm this up a little bit, and then just kind of down here again. Now, I'm also going to put on eyeshadow from one of the palettes that they have, but I am gonna see, you're gonna see me kind of put a little on my eyeshadows using kind of the flatter side of the brush here, just to give a little bit of a contour effect to the eyes. This is also really good if you're not wanting to do a ton with eyes and you just want to do something to kind of make them stand out. Just putting a little bit on that upper crease really just look like you tried without actually trying at all. So I'll kind of show you that there. So again, you can kind of see the highlighter and the bronzer, but for as much bronzer as I put on, it's really hard to tell that I put on a ton. And that's the goal with this. It's, you know, very blurring. I don't have a lot of issues with this settling into fine lines or texture that I have. Definitely recommend recommend, if you're new to bronzer, check this out. If you are, you know, kind of like used to using bronzer, then plan to go one shade up so that you can get the effect that you want. All right, so their powder. I originally thought, oh gosh, I don't know. I mean, I have so many powders, I really do. I should just do like a whole video on all the many powders. I have one whole drawer in my bathroom that comes out that just has powders in it. So did I need another one? No, but I really wanted to try this because I've really enjoyed so much stuff. So this is the newest thing that I've purchased besides two of the blushes, Miami and Malibu, that came out in the spring. But this, I'll show you kind of the top here. Without the product coming out too much. I just got the universal translucent shade, but they do have kind of a pink shade that's supposed to brighten and lift, and then they have a peach shade that's supposed to brighten and warm. But I just kind of wanted to see how the original OG was. So we're gonna put this on. Let me grab a brush. All right, we're gonna just dab a little bit of this on. So that's it there. I'm gonna need to use the cap to kind of swirl this around a little bit. And oh, it's like I'm over a cauldron of steam here. Okay, we're gonna let that settle for a minute. That was a lot that dusted up. I don't usually put that much on my brush. And then we're gonna put this on, and then I'm going to use kind of one of my Girl Scout puffs from Hard Candy, and I'm just gonna take a little bit of this, and then I'm gonna rub that into the brush so that it will kind of settle a little bit. And we're just gonna put that in the T-zone just to kind of freshen that up a little bit. So bring that in, you can see how mattifying that was. Very fine, very blurring. I really do like it. I like all their products have blurring. At a certain age, I need a lot more blurring in my life, so that is really helpful. And then they have two eyeshadow palettes. So the one I have is this one, Polite Society, Forget Social Media, I'm Dope in Real Life. So I feel like this one's really helpful. But they do have another one that's kind of got some more pinks in it, and that is the VIP palette, which I will put up on the screen here. But I will show you the one I have. And I got this one because I don't have a lot of glitter eyeshadows. And I just thought this was really good. So we're gonna use some of these tones here, again, to kind of stay with kind of the fall effect. So we're gonna start out with this shade here, and I'm gonna put this in the inner corner using my Spectrum brush. So let's see how this goes. And I will say that even though most of the shades in this palette are shimmers, I don't really find a lot of fallout. I do think this is a really good formulation, and I haven't had too much issues. Now, I will usually, I didn't today just so you could kind of see it, but I'll often use an eyeshadow primer specifically made for glitter. There's one by NYX, and it really locks that glitter in place. But I find I have to use that frequently with even the Huda Beauty palettes, but I don't have to use it with this one. I mean, it's fine, it works fine with it. And then we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna use this matte shade, and we're gonna go in the crease with this on the other side of that brush. And we'll go a little gentle here so we're not blowing it out. But I do find that these are really rich in pigment. They're easy to use, and it's nice to have a whole palette that's got some mattes, but it also has some glitters in it. And the tones aren't, you know, just barely there. You're gonna be able to see them. As you can see here, this brown shade here is coming on really nicely, giving me a nice crease effect on top of that lighter color. All right, so we're gonna do a little glitter in the center. So I'm gonna go with kind of this burnt orange glitter here. I just think that would be really pretty and very fall-like. We're just gonna put this kind of in the center here and more dab that on than blot it on. And we're gonna go ahead and put that on here. And we'll just do a tad bit more. Try not to over glitter, because then my husband will comment why I have so much glitter on my face. Okay, so that is good. Now I will say that they do have mascara. It is not a tubing mascara. I am very specific. If I'm going to buy mascaras, I want something that is waterproof, that's going to be tubing and is not going to come off. So I haven't checked that out and I can't comment on that. But one of the things I am going to put on, which is my absolute favorite lip gloss of all time. I've already bought this twice. And so this is Polite Society's Polite Pouts Lip Balm. And I have this one in the shade French Caramel. It smells so amazing. Now, granted, these aren't going to give you a ton of color. I also have like the pink grapefruit one. I'll put that up here. But I really like this one. I take this with me everywhere I travel. I think these are really good. They're really nourishing. But it is going to give you kind of just, here, let me pull some up here. It is going to give just a slight bit of color there. And but nice shine. And I mean, it's not gonna last forever, you know? But the smell. The smell just absolutely gets me every time. I love it. I wish you could jump through my screen and smell this with me because you would also go buy it right away. All right, I am going to go ahead and finish up the rest of my makeup and I'll be right back with final thoughts. Okay, so I just put on a little bit of an eyeliner and then my absolute favorite mascara, the brown mascara by Too Faced. That's a tubing mascara, just to kind of complete the look. And I had already done my eyebrows before I hopped on with that Anastasia Beverly Hills brow pen. So that was done as well. But overall, I really think this is a great company to check out. The Plate Pops, I'm obsessed with. I have 4, so obviously, and a girl who has way too many blushes to begin with, if you can crack through and I feel the need to buy you yet again, which I did this spring with the other 2 colors, then that's a really good one. I also like that they have palettes. You know, sometimes it can just be a little break the bank to buy, you know, a small palette or a single shade of blush. And so having the blush and the highlight palette and then also the eyeshadow palette is really nice. Like I said, there is another one and they have a ton of these lip glosses. So if French Caramel doesn't sound amazing to you, and I can't imagine why it doesn't, but if it doesn't, you know, like, hey, you know, you do you. There are tons of other ones. So thanks for joining me for a makeup review and also a look. And I did try to go with a little bit of a fall look, which I think I kind of achieved. And I will link all the products that I used in the description box down below, including the products I used for my brow and the rest of my eye look. And I hope everyone has a great day and happy shopping.